वितायमाना सत्त्वावलम्बि परसत्त्वविशुद्धसत्त्वम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि आनन्दचिन्मयरसात्मतया मनस्सो यः प्राणिनां प्रतिपलं स्मरतामुपेत्य लीलायुतेन भुवनि जयत्यजस्रम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि गोलोकनाम्नि निजधाम्नि तले च तस्य देवी महेश हरिधामसुतेषु तेषु एते प्रभावनिचया विहिताश्च येन गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि सृष्टिस्थितिप्रलयसाधनशक्तिरेका सा एव यस्य भुवनानि बिभर्ति दुर्गा इच्छानुरूपमपि यस्य च चेष्टते सा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि क्षीरं यदा दधिविकारविशेषयोगात् सञ्जायते न हि तथा पृथगस्ति हेतोः यशम्भुतामपि तथा समुपैति कार्यात् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि दीपाचिरेव हि दशान्तरमभ्युपेत्य दीपायते विवृतहेतुसमानधर्मा यस्माद्गृहेव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यः कारणार्णवजले भजति स्म योग निद्रामनन्तजगदण्डसरोमकूपः आधारशक्तिमवलम्ब्य परां स्वमूर्तिम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्यैकनिश्वसितकालमतावलम्ब्य जीवन्ति लोमविलजा जगदण्डनाथाः विष्णोर्महान् सैहयस्य कलाविशेषो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि भास्वान्यथा स्मश्रकलेषु निजेषु तेजः स्वीयं कियत् प्रकटयत्यपि तद्वदत्र ब्रह्माय एष जगदण्डविधानकर्ता गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यत्पादपल्लवयुगं विनिधाय तुम्ब द्वन्द्वे प्रणामसमये स गणाधिराजः विघ्नान् विहन्तुमलमस्य जगत्त्रयस्य गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि अग्निर्महिर्गगनमम्बुमरुद्दिशश्च कालस्तदात्ममनसीति जगत्त्रयाणि यस्माद्भवन्ति विभवन्ति विशन्ति यं च गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यच्चक्षुरेश सविता सकलग्रहाणां राजा समस्तसुरमूर्तिरशेषतेजाः यस्याज्ञया भ्रमति संवृतकालचक्रो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि धर्मोऽथ पापनिचयश्रुतयस्तपांसि ब्रह्मादिकीटपदकावदयश्च जीवाः यद्दत्तमात्रविभवप्रकटप्रभावा गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यस्त्विन्द्रगोपमतवेन्द्रमहोस्वकर्मा बन्धानुरूपफलभाजनमातनोति कर्माणि निर्दहति किन्तु च भक्तिभाजाम् गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि यं क्रोधकामसहजप्रणयादिभीति वात्सल्यमोहगुरुगौरवसेव्यभावैः सञ्चिन्त्य तस्य सदृशीं तनुमापुरेते गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि श्रियः कान्ताकान्तः परमपुरुषकल्पतरवो द्रुमा भूमिश्चिन्तामणिगणमयी तोय कथागानं नाट्यं गमनमपि वंशी प्रियसखी चिदानन्दं ज्योतिः परमपि तदा स्वाद्यमपि च स यत्र क्षीराग्निः स्रवति सुरभिभ्यश्च सुमहान् निमेषार्धाख्यो वा व्रजति न हि यत्रापि समयः भजे श्वेतद्वीपं तमहमिह गोलोकमिति यम् विदन्तस्ते सन्तः क्षितिविरलच्छारा कतिपये ईश्वरः परमः कृष्णः सच्चिदानन्दविग्रहः अनादिरादिर्गोविन्दः सर्वकारणकारणम् हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Janaranjana Yamuna Tera Yamuna Tera Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Okay. Govinda. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, welcome everyone for this Brahma-saṁhitā seminar. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivikāsa Swamini Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatare. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bharinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna. So last time we started our Samhita studying. We had a little introduction to how Lord Chaitanya found the book in the Adikeshava temple and how he brought it to Puri, how he distributed amongst his confidential devotees, all devotees, made copies of it, and how they relish the nectar which was in the book. And the last time we were hearing all description of content of the book, what is inside of the book, what are the nectarian shlokas discussed. So we started last time discussing this first shloka, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So this is the first and the maybe most famous shloka of all the Brahma-saṁhitā, and says, Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He is an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. So the first shloka, it's commented by Srila Jiva Goswami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, translated again into English, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary. And our Srila Prabhupada used it innumerable times, hundreds of times he used this shloka. Why this shloka is so important? Why is so favorite amongst Vaishnavas? Because it establishes that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, that God is a person, his name, form, qualities, pastimes are all spiritual, transcendental by nature, and it establishes Krishna as a source of all other forms, Sarva Karana Karanam, Anadiradi. So this is a perfect definition of God, and is used very much by all. And the very purpose of Vaishnavas is to spread this knowledge, to spread this message. The conditioned soul in material world, last time we were discussing, the jiva fell from spiritual world to enjoy from God. Jiva has no interest in God. Jiva wants to enjoy. They don't want to hear about God, to know God. But once they realize, after going through many, many spaces, maybe lifetimes once they realize that there is no happiness in material world, or that happiness is temporary, does not satisfy the soul. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Going through 84 lakhs of species of life, Jiva starts inquiry about the nature of Absolute. Who is God? Is there is any God? I have to die. How to be happy? What is life? What is my relation? What is my with God? What is my relation with universe? What is my position? What is the purpose of life? Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Inquiry into absolute truth. So the devotees, the very life of devotee is to the knowledge. Yes, there is a God. He is He is supreme. We have our eternal relation with Him. We are eternal servants. We'll be happy only when we surrender to Him, serve Him. We are part and parcels eternally of God. And that spiritual world, full of variety, full of pastimes, full of forms, full of life. Actually, that's the only life. This is Mrityaloka, place of death, Vaikunta, place without any miseries, without any sufferings. So when Vaishnava comes, Krishna comes, avatars comes, Vedas, Vaishnavas, all are there, saints, to convince us that we have to surrender to the God, who is a person, supreme person. And this person is described in this shloka and in Brahma-saṁhitā, in Shastras, particularly in Brahma-saṁhitā. There is description of personality of God. And establishing that his form, his supremacy, his qualities, everything is supreme. So here, all the commentators take this shloka as a pivot, as a pillar of the preaching or presentation. In Srila Prabhupada's pranam mantra, what do we chant? Nirvishesh Shunyavadi. Paschatya Desha Tarini. Nirvishesh. He came to deliver this world of Nirvishesh. Nirvishesh means impersonalism. Nirvishesh, without attributes. That means those philosophies who propagate that God has no form, no name, his qualities are material, his pastimes are material, his abode is material, his affairs, leelas are material. So the Vaishnava comes to establish the truth about Krishna's Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yoveti Tatvada. Krishna says in Gita, my Janma, my Karma, my appearance, my activities, Divyam, these are transcendental. Ava Janati Mam Huda Manushintanu. When I come in human form, fools, they do not know me. They do not Param Bhavam Jananto. They do not know my superior transcendental nature. They misunderstand me to be one of the ordinary conditioned souls. So Vaishnava comes to that. Prabhupada is Pranamantra tells Nirvishesh Shunyavadi. And to defeat also Voidists, Buddhists particularly, these are Voidists, who says that ultimately there is no soul, there is no God, Shunya, there is zero, Nirvana. We merge into nothingness. We become nothing. We disappear. We do not exist anymore. Amazing. And it's very prominent. You will be surprised how many people are becoming Buddhists or some kind of Buddhist in the West. How Jiva is leaning towards that. They want to be spiritual, but they don't want to be religious. They want to have spiritual experience. Thousands of people doing yoga meditation in the West, but they don't want to meditate on form of the God. Meditation in Sanskrit is called dhyana. Bhagavatam says, Jayat Bhagavato Rupam. Meditation means you close your eyes, but you focus on the form of the Lord, transcendental form of the Lord, the lotus feet of the Lord, you meditate, beautiful dress, lotus face of the Lord. This is the meditation. So they will sit and meditate on nothing. Meditate, stop your thoughts, stop your material desires, stop thinking about your problems. They call this meditation. Meditate means to focus mind, what? On the candle, not on the candle. Jayat Bhagavato Rupam. Maybe focusing on the candle help you for a moment not to think of all the problems you have in material world, or all the allurements, all the sense gratification, all the disturbances. That in that sense, maybe you relief. Or better to think of candle than on thinking of my boss, who's on my neck, or my bills, my tax, my health problem, family problem. So People are leaning toward Buddhism. They created some new idea that we are spiritual but not religious. We want to be better than gross materialists, but we do not want to commit to the personal God. We do not want to surrender. So Srila Prabhupada comes, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarya, to deliver Western countries and everyone in material world from this misconception that God is not person, that there is no God, and that there is something impersonal power ruling everything. No, God is a person, and his name is Krishna, and he has spiritual form. So this is established here. So you can see Srila Prabhupada, how he preaches. I'll just share this screen notes. Let me see what we have here. Okay, share the screen. All of you can see this. Share the screen. Okay. This, so, minimize it. Okay. Because of this box, I can't read this also. Okay. Done? Okay, here, Srila Prabhupada says, this Brahma-saṁhitā is made by Brahma. He is the original creature within this universe. Brahma is first created living beings in the universe. He is recommending that my origin is also person. Now, first person created in the universe, first living entity inhabited the universe, he is saying, my origin is also person. Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship that original person. Therefore, the origin of everything, the absolute, the summum bonum, cannot be in person. What is the reason? Where is the experience that from in person a person comes? There is no such instance within our experience. From person, a person comes. My father is a person, so I am a person. His father is a person. Therefore, my father is a person. Go on searching, you will find the origin in person. Try to understand this philosophy. So you see how Srila Prabhupada uses this Brahma-saṁhitā Krishna, this shloka, how Prabhupada uses. Prabhupada said that the Brahma is a person, speaks. My origin is also person. How he speaks? He is offering prayers. Brahma-saṁhitā Govindam Adi Purusham. Adi Purusham, later on we'll see, is the original person. The first person, Adi Purush, the original person. This is whom I worship. So this is what Vaishnava does. They establish God as a person, supreme personality of Godhead. So again, you can say in the commentary of Srila Goswami, he quotes immediately Shastras to establish that Krishna is supreme person and the primary form of Bhagavan, of God. When you say Krishna, person, it's not many people interpret, speculate that Krishna refers to Brahman, Krishna refers to some energy, Krishna refers to this, Krishna refers. But now you will see, Acharyas they quote shlokas to show you that is that Krishna, who is son of Devaki, Vasudeva, who is son of Nanda Maharaj Yashoda Maya, who plays the pastime. This is the Krishna who is described as a Brahman, Parabrahman in the Shastra. There is no difference. Is a person. The origin of everything is a person. The absolute truth is the person. So okay. So here you can say this is the shloka when Krishna in the to Vasudeva and Devaki, and they were amazed to see the Krishna's transcendental form. So how Krishna appeared? He showed forehand form as a baby in front of Vasudeva and Devaki. This is amazing. He just appeared in the air in front of them in transcendental form, fully dressed. beautiful garlands and the dress and glittering ornaments and Shankar, Chakra, Gada, Padma, like that. So when Vasudeva saw his extraordinary son, his eyes were struck with wonder. In transcendental jubilation, he mentally collected 10,000 cows and distributed them among the Brahmanas as transcendental festival. So here, what is the point of Srila Jiva Goswami? He said, Krishna Avatar Utsava. Krishna Avatar Utsava means the festival of Krishna's appearance, basically. The word Krishna is used. And he is showing that Krishna, Ishvara Parama Krishna, he appeared in his spiritual form and performed pastimes with Vasudeva and Devaki and inhabitants. It's a person. He has activities. This Krishna show himself in his transcendental form. God is a person. So this is what he quotes. So he's explaining this, that now the link is Ishvara Parama Krishna. This Krishna refers to, it's that Krishna person who performs the pastimes. There is no difference. Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Supreme Lord, he performs pastimes, he's a person. He quotes immediately from Samaveda, Chandogya Upanishad. Again, Krishnaya Devaki Nandanaya. Krishna. Oh, Krishna means what? Krishna means son of Devaki, Devaki Nandana. I offer my respect to Krishna, the son of Devaki. So these shlokas are immediately supporting this strong foundation for explanation of this Ishvara Parama Krishna, that we refer to a person. Of course, you are all devotees, and you are saying, okay, you told already 20 times. Come on, make some other point. But I tell you, only devotees who read Prabhupada's books are convinced in this. And maybe Madhvas, Shri Vaishnavas are convinced. Nimbarkas and maybe Pushti Margas, they are convinced. The Vaishnava Sampradayas are convinced. The rest of the world, 98%, 99% of population, when you say God, they don't think what you think. Even in India, so many people will say Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I'm also Krishna, you also Krishna. How many times we heard Mayavad? How many times we heard the twisting the story? How many times we heard misinterpretation of Krishna's name, forms, qualities, pastimes? How many times we heard a mess around? So these acharyas are very, very strongly presenting this case, quoting from Vedas, quoting from Shastras, explaining, trying to present Krishna as it is, as a person, transcendental personality. Okay, so the same form, he's not saying same person, the same form of personality of Godhead is described in the Chandogya Upanishad. So that's the point, not void, not something in person, not some energy, but the Krishna form, transcendental form, supreme personality of Godhead. So now Jiva says that Brahma-saṁhitā begins with Ishvara Parama Krishna to indicate at the very beginning that Krishna is principal form of the God. So he uses this Payasa, Kumbha, Purayati Nyaya. There's a logic in Shastra, there are different Nyayas. We heard Adhapurika Nyaya, that half-hand philosophy, or so many times Prabhupada uses the Nyaya Shastra, the logic. So logic of this Payasam Kumbha. Payasam is milk, Kumbha is a pot. Purayati, to fill the pot with the milk. He uses that example. He says that when you have an empty pot, immediately fill it with milk. So from the first thing, you fill it with milk. That's the best use for the pot. So he says that similarly, Brahma immediately in the first shloka at the beginning of the work, he established Ishvara Parama Krishna. Krishna is supreme. That's according to that logic. That first thing, this is established, and all the book after explain why is it so, how it is so. This is the idea. Krishna is supreme, and then everything else is following. So he said that this is according to this Payasa Kumbha Purayati Nyaya. Okay, so here again, this Krishnaya Devaki Nandanaya, what you see on the screen, I offer my respectful obedience to Krishna. The Srila Jiva Goswami says that Devaki Nandan is also Krishna's name, but Krishna is mentioned first. Krishna's name is mentioned first. then other. So you say, because Krishna's form, two-hand form, playing flute, is the original form of the God, his name, Krishna, is also primary name. So now, after establishing Krishna's form is supreme, he's establishing Krishna's name also. And he also goes on quoting Shastras that say like this. He quotes from Bhagavatam immediately. This is from, I think this is Garga Muni speaking to Vasudeva. When on appearance of Krishna, Garga Muni astrologer came to see the chart, to give the name, to explain who is that boy, who is your son, what will be the future, bright future of your son. The Garga Muni came. Okay, so here, the Garga Muni explained, your son Krishna appears in an incarnation in every millennium. In the past, he assumed three different colors, white, red, and yellow. And now he has appeared in a blackish color. Krishna Tam Gataha. Krishna Tam means in blackish color here appear. Okay, so now he goes on, one more shloka from the same chapter. Bahuni santi namani rupani cha sutasyate guna karmanu rupani tanyaham vedanu jana. Bahuni santi namani rupani. Your son has many forms and many names. Okay? For this son of yours, there are many forms and names according to his transcendental qualities and activities. These are known to me, but people in general do not know and do not understand them. So, what is that here? Again, Krishna is mentioned as a source of many names and many forms according to his qualities and activities. Who is that? Who has many forms and many names? Krishna, who appeared as your son. He appeared in different forms later, in white color, in yellow color, and in this form, and in that form. But the original form is Krishna, and original name is Krishna, and all others follow them. Okay, so right. So again, name Krishna is mentioned. Krishna Tam Gataha. So name Krishna is mentioned first, and other names will be given later. In Bhagavatam will be explained also later. Whatever, you know. So the established that Krishna name comes first. Why? Because this is the supreme personality of Godhead, and his name is Krishna, the primary name. In Brahma-saṁhitā, by saying Ishvara Parama Krishna, two things are established. First, that Krishna is original form of all other forms. All other forms come from Krishna. Bahuni namani rupani. Same this. Bahuni namani, many names, many forms from this one. Okay. It is explained by Jiva Goswami. Whole power over others, indicating that avatars of other colors, white, red, and yellow, all appear from Krishna, who is original form. So Krishna means also to hold power over others. And Prabhupada follows that. Prabhupada explains like this. Factually, Krishna is the source of all avatars. And therefore, all the different features are present in Krishna. You see that? So when Krishna comes, all other avatars are within Krishna. All our avatars are within Krishna, coming from Krishna. When Krishna incarnates, all the features of other incarnations are already present within him. Other incarnations are partial representation of Krishna, full-fledged incarnation of Supreme Being. It is to be understood that the Supreme Being, whether appearing as Shukla, Rakta or Pitta, white, red or yellow, is the same person. When he appears in different incarnations, he appears in different colors. It's like the sunshine, which contains several colors. Mainly as a bright light. The different Dashavataras are all included in Krishna avatar. All the avatars appear with him. As described in Srimad Bhagavatam, avatar yes. Yata vidasina kulya. No one can count how many waves there are in flowing water. And similarly, there is no limitation of the avatars. And Krishna is the full representation of all avatars because he is the source of all avatars. Krishna is Amshi, whereas others are Amsha, part of Krishna. Ete Chamsa Kala. Whether Chamsa, these are all Amsas of the Lord, expansion of Lord, Kala, or expansion of the plenary expansion, expansion of expansion. So from Krishna, maybe Narayan comes, and from Narayan you will have other forms, other Narayan. Like from Mahavishnu, Garbhodaka Vishnu comes, from Garbhodaka Vishnu, Kshirodaka Vishnu comes, one. But from Krishna, one came, and from Amsha, Kala. Okay, so this is establishing Brahma-saṁhitā. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Krishna is the original form of all other forms, the source of all avatars. Everything comes from him. Second point is that Krishna's name is principal name. Therefore, first is Parama, who? Krishna. Now, Govinda is mentioned later. That is Krishna, but refers to particular activity of Krishna. His dealings with the gopis, with the gopas. That is but it means same Krishna, doesn't mean anybody else. So there is no confusion in that. Okay. So now, Srila Jiva Goswami goes on quoting, explaining the etymological derivations of the name Krishna, as found in Mahabharata. So here I'll show again the shloka. Nivriti vacha. Tayar aikyam param brahma Krishna ityabhidiyat. So here, the word Krish is the attractive feature of the Lord, or Lord's existence. Attractive feature, attractive. And na means spiritual pleasure. When the word Krish is added at affix na, it becomes Krishna, which indicates absolute truth, Parabrahman. Param Brahman, Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna. So now this is the definition which we use. Krishna means all attractive. No? This is what usually we say. Oh, Krishna means all attractive. Okay. So, Krishibu Vachaka Shabdo, the entities by whose power all objects exist. This is another understanding. Entity by whose power all objects exist. We know from Upanishads again, Nityo Nityanam, Chaitanas Chaitananam, Eko Bahunam, Yo Vidadati Kama. Nityo Nityanam, of all eternal living entities, there is one, also eternal. Nityo Nityanam, Chaitanas Chaitana, of all conscious living entities. There is one supremely conscious. Eko Bahunam, that one, Eko Bahunam, Yo Vidadati, Eko Bahunam, one, many, Vidadati Kaman, maintains them, fulfills their desires, literally. So this is one. The entity whose powers all objects exist because of Krishna's power. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada again explains another way of Krishi. Krishi means cultivation, and Krishi means very great. Krish Dhatu. So Krishna, Krish means repetition of birth. Repetition of birth. So Krishi, repetition of birth, now means one who checks. He is Krishna. Repetition of birth, one who checks. He is Krishna. Therefore, our repetition of birth can be checked only by God. That means Krishna. Otherwise, not possible. Harim vina namrati pranti. Without mercy of Hari, it is not possible to be free from repeated birth and death. Nobody can stop his repetition of birth and death without having the causeless mercy of God. So you can see, this is God. This is God. Nothing vague, nothing unclear. Yeah, something is there, some power is there, some consciousness is there. It's consciousness, but why do you say it's person? Because Shastra says person. Acharya says it's a person. Tattvadarshis, those who have seen the truth, they say he's a person. Why do you say he's not a person? Because you have not seen him. Because you have not seen him. Say any big company, Microsoft software, Microsoft computer, Microsoft mouse, Microsoft camera. But how can Microsoft be a person? No? It's not a person. This is all over. The things are there, object, but this is not person. Hey, I know the person. Who is the Microsoft person? Who is the Microsoft person? Bill Gates. Everybody knows. Hey, you are all personalists. No, it's a person. We never met him, but maybe we've seen on TV or newspapers, but we know by common sense. Behind all these energies, there is energetic, there is some intelligent brain. Look, is it Microsoft, correct? The Microsoft, logic. Anyway, they are not paying me for advertising. Why should I advertise? So there is a person, there's intelligence, there is, all the endeavor making something. So this is what is explained here. Acharyas, this is our message. There is a God, there is a person. Okay. So then Shilajyoga Swami goes on quoting from Vishnu Purana. Okay. How much energy they took. There were no computers those days. They had to read all the Shastra. They have to know the Shastra. They understood the conclusion of the Shastra. Vishnu Purana. Krishi Shabdascha Sattatonas Chananda Swarupaka Atma Bhavananda Mayatvatara. Krishi means existence, now means having a form of bliss. He is the very form of happiness because he is composed of bliss arising from prema. Now this is the translation. Bhavananda. Correct? Okay. So again, explaining that Krishna actually refers to God. Why? Why? Because he is the form of transcendental bliss. Okay? He is the form of the bliss and he is very form of happiness. Then Mahabharata is quoted. Who is discussing Mahabharata? This is Narada Muni quotes discussing with the rishis about Krishna, and then Narada Muni say, once Krishna spoke to Arjun, and Krishna spoke to Arjun, Nam Mukhya Tamam Nama, Krishna Kya Me Parantapa. Hey Parantapa, of all my names, the most important name is Krishna. And Krishna says, what is your name? Srinivas. But everybody calls you Srinu. No, but actually my name is Srinivas. But I heard they call you Srinu, they call you like this, they call you like that. Look, my legal name, Aadhaar card, Srinivas. Okay, So who knows better than Krishna what is the most important name of his? Nobody knows better. So you see, immediately Acharya's quote is established. No, my dear Arjun, Krishna is most important of all my names. And all these other quotes explain why is it so? How is it so? Because in the Supreme Lord, this is how it's explained. Okay. Brahmanda Purana. Sahanam na punyanam triravrityatuya palayatu krishnatya amaikam tad prayachati. Conversation of Bhishma Dev with Yudhishthira in Mahabharata, and Bhishma Dev recommends the chanting of names of Vishnu. In Shastra, you'll find Singha Tapani Upanishad describes this, that compares people who are doing yagyas, who are doing karma kanda, better than them are people who worship Shiva and chant Shiva's name. Then again, he said, better are people who worship Narsinga and chant Narsinga's name, Vishnu's name. Then Bhishma will say, of all the mantras, of all the different names of all the gods, the Vishnu's names are to be chanted, Vishnu Sahasranam. Agastya Purana also says that Sarvashu mantra vargashu sreshtam Vaishnavam uchate Ganapatishu Shaiveshu Durgeshu Suryeshu Abhishtada. He says in Agastya Samhita, it said Sarvashu mantra vargashu, all types of mantras described in the Vedas. Sreshtam, the best, Vaishnavam uchate. Vishnu's mantras are best. Ganapatishu Shaiveshu Suryeshu Durgeshu Abhishtada. Better than Shiva's mantras, better than Ganapati mantras, better than Durga mantras, better than Surya mantras are Vishnu's mantras, Vishnu's names. And because they address the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate Bhagavan. And then in Vishnu Sahasranam, we hear that Parvati asks Lord Shiva, "Oh, my dear husband, do you also chant Vishnu Sahasranam?" And Lord Shiva replies, famous, Rama Rama Rameti, Rama Rame Manorame, Sahasranama Bijulyam, Rama Nama Varanana. That Varanana is Parvati's name. I chant Ramanam, and my mind is Manoram. I'm fully pleased. Saha Punyanam. You get punya by chanting the 1,000 names of Vishnu. One time, Rama Nama Varan. By chanting one time Ram, one can achieve punya of chanting 1,000 names of Vishnu. Okay? Now Brahmanda Purana says, Sahasra Namna Punyanam. Punya, which is achieved by chanting Sahasra Nama, 1,000 names of Vishnu, 3 Ravarita Triyat Phalam. 3 times you get phalam. Eka Vritya, one time saying Krishna's Yanam. One time you chant Krishna's name, you get 3 times punya of chanting Vishnu Sahasranam. So this is Nama Mukhyata, the most important name, the best name to be chanted. So what we chant? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So how many times we chanted now Vishnu Sahasranam? Krishna is 4 times, 4 by 3, 12, and Rama 4 times. 12 by 4, 16 times we chanted Vishnu Sahasranam. Means punya is equivalent. And what about Hare? This is extra bonus. So you see, not whimsically that we chant Hare Krishna, that we worship Krishna, not whimsically, established in Shastra, by logic, by proof, pramanas from Vedas, Shruti pramana is given, Smriti pramana is given. Okay, so now, okay, let me see what we have here. Yes, so, yeah, now you can say all the shlokas are there, but Prabhupada, of course, we are convinced by Acharya's presentation that Krishna is supreme, his name is supreme. But now Prabhupada went to the West from India. Western people, they don't know what is Shastra. They do not know Vedas. They never read any Gita or Bhagavatam or what to speak of. And they don't know, they never heard of. Very rare, few intellectuals, they heard of Gita, read it or something. It was not really known. Bhagavatam, unknown. Few scholars they knew. Now you go to West and teach Western people, Shastra says Krishna is supreme. And Shastra is, what is it? Something to eat? They have no clue. How do you preach there? It's another challenge. So how Prabhupada preached, like that Vaishnava used to preach to Buddhists in India, they used to preach based on logic. Logic they used to preach based on Shastra. Because the Buddhists also, they do not accept Vedas. So you cannot just say, hey, Sama Veda says Krishna's name is there, Devaki Nandan, Krishna. Yeah? Narayan Upanishad says, Brahmanyo Devaki Putraha. So we don't accept Vedas. So how you present this conclusion in the West? Through logic, through common sense, by Prabhupada's own purity, by his saintliness. Krishna empowered him to preach. Krishna empowered him to convince people who do not accept Shastra. But he preached what is given by Acharyas also. So look at this, how Prabhupada preaches. Now, if I say Krishna is Supreme Lord, you may say, why is Krishna the Supreme Lord? Krishna is Indian. No, why should I accept Indian God now? We have our God in the West, no? No, he's God. For example, the sun rises first over India, then over Europe. But that does not mean that the European sun is different from the Indian sun. This is just pure logic, correct? Similarly, all the Krishna appear in India. Now he has come to the Western countries to this Krishna. Look at this beautiful statement. Of course, the main point is here that Prabhupada has to explain. When Krishna says in Gita, Aham Bija Pradha Pita, I'm seed-giving father. Krishna is God for everyone. There's nothing like Indian God, European God, American God, Jewish God, Muslim God, Christian God. Forget it. This does not exist. These are all man-made religions. Krishna is supreme. Sun is sun. Christian sun, Indian sun, American sun. Trump will claim that sun is American, most probably. Hey, we saw it first, belongs to us. No, you can't claim God is God. God means Father of all living entities, for example. Okay, so you see how Prabhupada preaches, He's not just quoting Shastra, but he's speaking the Shastra conclusion in the logic in the Western countries. Okay, so another big thing to establish that God is not impersonal, or that Brahman described in Vedas does not mean impersonal something higher than Krishna. This is a big problem in India because people say Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Do you worship Krishna? Yes, I also worship Krishna. Once we went to Bank of Narmada, and there was one Sankirtan ashram before, and we are approaching the village, and we are hearing Hare Krishna Mahamantra Kirtan is going. Wow! So we came there, and we are coming with Kirtan to the village, and there is already Kirtan in the village. So we come in the Sankirtan hall, and we see, surprise, surprise, all Mayavadis sitting and chanting his name, chanting Mahamantra, not other bhajan, just Mahamantra. And the main Swamiji has 3 lines, Ekavastra. And and they are in bliss. Hey, Hare Krishna. So, of course, we immediately took over the kirtan, and we chanted for 1-2 hours, and villagers came and they were dancing, and it was a bliss like that. And after the kirtan, they continued chanting. We took bath, we had to cook something. And I met the main Swamiji, 3 line. So I said, here, you people, how is it possible, that you're wearing 3 line, non-Vaishnava tilak, Smarta tilak or Shaiva tilak, and you're chanting Krishna's name. And he said, yes, you don't know. Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam, kalao nastya, 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 gattiranyata. Then Shastra says, no, Harinam, Harinam, no other way, no other way, no other way, gattiranyata, to merge into God, to achieve the Param Gati. I was shocked. What? Yeah. He's chanting Hare Krishna to merge. Because what actually Sanskrit says, Gatir Anyata, Gati means the goal. To achieve your goal, to enter Anyata, to enter into the goal. There's no other way they by chanting holy name. They want to merge to Krishna by chanting his name. So we have to preach, we have to explain, we have to present Krishna as he is. He's a person. So you're not going to become God. You cannot become God. God is God. God is always God. God does not become God. God means he was always God in the past, present, and in the future. Fixed, no votes, no election, already done. No? So this is another thing to establish. So here, that they don't confuse, they always want to remove Krishna's personality from the picture and present. No, it's not Krishna, it's Brahman, something else. So we don't have to surrender. We don't have to commit to the person. We're not answerable to the person, They don't want relationship with God. They don't want to surrender, ultimately, So here, again, Vishnu Purana is quoted. Brahman is known as the supreme entity because it is the greatest and because it is the nourisher of all things. Now, look at this quote, shloka. This shloka is describing what is supreme things. Supreme entity, because greatest and nourisher of all things. Again, already was described that Krishna means that one who maintains everyone, one who nourishes everyone. So he said, this is description. Brihad Gautamya Tantra again explains this. The word Krish means existence and Na means having a form of bliss. Because Krishna is cause of existence, and thus he causes of bliss for all beings. He is called Supreme Brahman, with Param Brahman, with consciousness. So here, you see, the Param Brahman is used explaining the word Krishna. And what is the point? That he is the entity that nourishes everyone. Not only nourishes, he created everyone, everything emanates from him, and he's cause of bliss for all living beings. That's another type of nourishment. He's cause of bliss. There is a relationship to God. And this Brahman is Chit, he is conscious, he is a person. This is what it says. Who is that person? Krishna. So you can't escape the acharyas. They really pinpoint. You are describing Brahman, you are describing that Brahman is Krishna. Qualities are matching, description is matching, his powers, his abilities, his potencies, everything is fitting. No? Again, Vasudeva Upanishad is quoted. Devaki Nandano Nikilam Anandaya. The son of Devaki gives bliss to all. Who is the Brahman who nourishes everyone? Anandamaya Bhyasat, Vedanta Sutra says. No? The Lord is full of bliss, is made of bliss. Soul also. The bliss comes with the exchange of relationship. So here, again, causes of existence and cause of bliss for all living beings. And again, Shloka says, son of Devaki gives bliss to all. Devaki Nandano Nikilam Anandaye. Nikilam Anandaye. Krishna gives pleasure to all. This is God, one who plays to him. Nama Kamudi is quoted again, explaining the word Krishna. Krishna Shabdasya Tamala Shamala Twishi Shri Ashoda Standandhaye Brahmani Rudihi. Now this is interesting. Krishna indicates Supreme Brahman, Para-Brahman, with a complexion of dark black tamal tree. Now, who drank milk from the breast of Yashoda? You see, he opposed two things. One is described Brahman, Para-Brahman. Who is that? Krishna, who drank milk from breast of Yashoda. And the impaston is, why you are mixing this Brahman and that Brahman? There is one Brahman, Krishna. He is the one. And they are pointing this type of, just showing you. That Parabrahman is Krishna, is a person, is one who performs Leela. Do not ignore him. Do not try to cover up with some effulgence and smoky explanation and cloudy knowledge. Bogus is a person. And now this is from where also interpretation comes. Krishna Shabdacha, Tamala Shyamala. Krishna is black. So Prabhupada mocks on it. He said, yeah, big Pandit you are. You study Ramayana. We went to all 7 kandas of Ramayana. At the end of Ramayana, what is your conclusion? I understood everything. Just I couldn't figure out whose father was Sita. You fool, nothing you understood. If after reading Ramayana, studying it, what is your question? Whose father is Sita? No? So Prabhupada said, this is a big Swamiji is talking. And what is conclusion? Gita is quoting, Upanishad is quoting. What's conclusion? Krishna means black. That's only what you understood about God. No? You did not understand. Black means is only your knowledge is described like that. Black. Nothing is visible in your presentation. So Prabhupada really banks. Okay, a few quotes from Prabhupada just for the pleasure of the devotees. Mayavadi philosophers simply dismiss the subject by explaining that Krishna means black. They cut off that Krishna is one who was drinking breast milk from Mother Yashoda. That Krishna is one who gives pleasure to the and the senses. That Krishna is Govinda. That Krishna is giving pleasure to Devaki Nandan, Devaki Mai. They're just dismissing. No, putting Krishna means black. The shlokas and shastras and pastimes and everything, they try to cover up. Not understanding the qualities of Krishna, these atheistic rascals do not accept him as the Supreme Personality of God. All the Lord is described as and accepted by great personalities, acharyas. Maya still do not appreciate him. Unfortunately, this great side of Krishna consciousness has been impelled by Mayavadi philosophers who are opposed to the personality of Krishna. You can see we have local temple here also. Impersonalists, they build a temple and they put Krishna's murti there. Otherwise, nobody will come to temple unless you have person sitting there. I mean, they have this Arya Samaj, they have temples. When you come there, there's Yagya Kunda in the middle. There is no altar at all. So, okay, that is kind of Chalega. Okay, we'll do the Yagya, no? That's also Yagyo vai Vishnu. They also worship Vishnu, they do not know also. They don't accept form of the Lord. But here they put Krishna's murti and they call it Krishna. No, Brahman Krishna. Why don't you call him Sri Krishna? No, Brahman Krishna. Just they put the form, people come, and then the first thing Pujari tells you, it's not the form. Brahman Krishna. Don't think of form. It's Brahman. Then why did you put remove? Nobody will come. Nobody will come. Of course, nobody will come, because God is a person. He's not in person. Those who are preaching this Krishna consciousness movement must try to understand Krishna from statement given Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Why Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? Because Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu explains what is Bhakti, what is Jiva's relation with God. Sambandha, Jnana, and Abhideya is there particularly explained, and Prayojan also. So, what is the Bhakti? How to re-establish your relation with Krishna? How to perform devotional service? Bhaktya mama vijanati. By Bhakti, Krishna will reveal himself. By Bhakti, he can be known. So this is quoted here. Just let me see where we are. Okay. What's the Upanishad? So, okay. So what is the point? The point is that here, the Srila Jiva Goswami mentions this shloka and he explains, Krishna should not be interpreted as a black. 500 years later, Prabhupada has to deal with the same problem. Still is going on. Still is going on. There was a warning by Srila Jiva Goswami. You can't just say black. He has activities, he has a pastimes, he has a form. Okay? So here, the Prabhupada dealing with the problem again. Look at it. So, Janma Karma Me Divyam Jo Jananti Tattvataha. This is how Prabhupada quoted usually this shloka. So we have to understand Krishna in truth, not superficially. Scientifically, Vijnanam. Jnanam Teham Savijnanam. Not foolishly that I can interpret Krishna. Some Raska says that Krishna means black. Some Raska say Krishna means this, Krishna means debauch, as according to one's character and angle of vision. But real meaning of Krishna is Param Brahma. And then Prabhupada quotes, look at the same shloka, Krishiko Vachaka Shabda, Nastan Vritti Vachaka. Iti Krishna Param Brahman iti abhidiyate. He's just quoting the same shloka. Same thing he is preaching. Krishna means Param Brahma. Krishna means all attractive. So we have to take understanding of great personalities. Rama means Param Brahma. Ramante Yogino Nante Satyananda Chitatmani. Iti Rama Padena so Param Brahma iti abhidiyate. Again, he's saying Rama means also personality of God. The Supreme Absolute Truth is called Ram because the transcendentalists take pleasure in the unlimited true pleasure of spiritual existence. So this is Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, means direct connection with the Param Brahma. You see the teaching, you see how Prabhupada speaks, exactly what Acharya says, exactly what is to be told to conditioned soul, that God is a person, develop relation with him, come back to him, worship him. Manmana bhavman bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru. So this is explained. And Prabhupada quotes, again, name is very important of Krishna. Why? Because it's not different from Krishna. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinatvan Nama Namino. So here Prabhupada says the holy name of Krishna is transcendently blissful. It bestows all spiritual benediction, for it is Krishna himself. Not only that Krishna's form is supreme, Krishna's name is supreme, but both they have same transcendental nature, same benefit. Okay. So it is not material name under any condition. It is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by material qualities, there is no question is being involved with Maya. Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by laws of material nature. This is because name of Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. So this is what Prabhupada quotes here. Okay. Now one more quote. Okay, this is we had this one. Okay, now look at this one. This is you see the Prabhupada's life is given to preach all Acharya's life, and he expects to preach this. You know, this is our duty, and this is our bhakti, and this is our expression of love to Prabhupada and to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is what we have to do. We have to present Krishna as a person. Don't come. We are speaking from Shastras. We are not personally attacking anyone. We are attacking ignorance, attacking this big ignorance, Maya, which is covering Jiva's consciousness and knowledge about God. Look at this letter. This is letter to Giriraj Maharaj, who was at that time preaching in Chennai, here in Tamil Nadu. He was making life members and making devotees at early days. This is, I think, this is 72, January 72. Okay, look at the letter of Prabhupada. Prabhupada says to Giriraj Maharaj, the fact is that I'm the only one in India who is openly criticizing not only demigod worship and impersonalism, but everything that falls short of complete surrender to Krishna. You know how Prabhupada strongly spoke. He has to. He came to give this knowledge of Krishna. He can't speak anything else. He knows Krishna is supreme. He has realized this. He heard from Shastra. He heard from his Guru. He has full faith, full conviction. He is Tattvadashi. He's seen God. He's seen the truth. He's preaching. My Guru Maharaj never compromised in his preaching, nor will I, nor should any of my students. We are firmly convinced that Krishna is Supreme Personality and all others are his part and parcel of service. This we must declare boldly to the whole world, that they should not foolishly dream of world peace unless they are prepared to surrender fully to Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Huh? Just see the preach. What do you say about wars? What do you say about peace? Problem is, we do not worship God. We do not worship Krishna. Therefore, there is a war. There is a karma. There is always this place. We are very clear what we preach. I have read the text of your speech delivered to Rotary Club and is very thoughtfully prepared. Try to arrange as many speaking engagements like that and simply repeat what you have heard me say in lectures and in our books. And the spiritual effect will be very potent. You see that? What Prabhupada say, repeat what I spoke in lectures and what is in our books, and spiritual effect will be very potent. I'm very pleased with your preaching attitude. Okay, so now recently we heard a video of a devotee. We sent the video of a devotee on public program, no tilak. He covers his kanti mala by chadar or by sometimes by some rolled shirt neck that covered. And also tiny shika already, that's also hidden from the camera. And message is also around the bush, something talking. So how will Krishna be pleased, you know? How Prabhupada will be pleased by that? No? Srila Prabhupada spoke clearly from Shastra, boldly. Sometimes people got hurt because they don't understand. But it's for benefit of everyone. Unless people hear about Krishna, their eternal relation with Krishna, you are helping them. There's no use making people smiling and make people like you, unless you tell them that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He's a person, and you have to worship him, you have to serve him, you have to surrender to him. Unless we spell this out, we are not helping anybody. It is illusion, another illusion. We are making good impression. No? Everybody will like our speech if we don't say that you have to surrender to Krishna, that you have to follow for regulatory principles, that you are going to take repeated birth and death unless you give up all sense enjoyment. Don't mention any of this. Everybody will like speeches. Because it's just another material sound, which is not creating any commotion in the ocean of material existence. But Prabhupada's speech is hurricane. It is, oh, what? So Swamiji, you say all the scientific advances for nothing. For nothing, let's go to this. All our politicians for nothing unless they worship God. It's, you know, completely against anything material. We can't hide. No? So this is the idea. The people not get benefit. And then also, Prabhupada didn't like to mix with impersonalists. He didn't like it. He didn't like to mix with them. And now we are going with impersonalists. We are shaking hands with them. We are sitting on the same stage with them. I little speak, then impersonal little speak. Then in that way, we are giving them importance. We are telling to people, yeah, they're also spiritualists. We are also spiritual. You can also hear from them. Prabhupada didn't give a fig. He would not. He told to Shyamasundar, I think Shyamasundar Prabhu was there. I'm very happy that my photo was not published with these other speakers, with these Mayavadis on that program. There was some program Prabhupada was invited, but he said, I'm very happy the newspaper did not publish my photo along with them. He didn't like it. In Japan, devotees arranged Prabhupada's program in Hindu community hall. And Hindus in Japan, they already had local Mayavadi Guruji there, you know. So they say, Swami Prabhupada, you speak, and then our Guruji will also speak, our local sannyasi. Prabhupada said, all right. Prabhupada sat on Vyasasana, and devotees, they have kirtan, and Prabhupada give class, 45 minutes, 1 hour, and the organizer came. Thank you, Swamiji Prabhupada, very nice lecture you gave in Pravachan. Now, our Swamiji will speak. So please, Prabhupada, you come down from Vyasasana, and that our Swamiji will sit and you speak. And Prabhupada just turned her like, I didn't hear you. And then the host said, please move that our Swamiji will now sit on Vyasasana. After Vaishnava, Acharya sitting on Vyasasana and speaking, now some, Mayavadi will come and, sit on same Vyasa, and after Prabhupada, speak some nonsense. So the Swamiji was little, you may say, humble in his own way. So he said, take it, Maharaj. Okay, he took mic and he was standing. Look at this commotion among Hindus. They thought, oh, this Swamiji is so powerful, he doesn't want to come. You know what they were thinking, what they would think, karmis, what the impression, what the preaching, So the Swamiji stood up and he started talking in Hindi, and he was, Brahman, Krishna, Brahman, impersonalism, Brahma, Jyoti, something. And Prabhupada looking, and all foreign devotees there, they couldn't understand what this Swamiji is talking. But they saw Prabhupada's face. He was not happy about it. My glorious master, Burijan Prabhu, tells the story in the book. They were speaking Hindi, so devotees, they couldn't understand. But they understood Prabhupada's face, he didn't like. In the middle of Swamiji's speech, Prabhupada said, devotees, start kirtan. Enough of this, start kirtan. And then Swamiji is speaking, and just three, four of them only. There's 100 people maybe in the room, and 3 of them, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Such a commotion, I mean, you may call it, you may say, unsuccessful program, people get fried, and honor who promised to ISKCON to give his flat. He told to Prabhupada after, I think, Swamiji, my flat is not suitable for your purpose. So he gave, he didn't want to give. And Prabhupada said, he was attached. He didn't give a fig, If anybody of us do this today in ISKCON, they will throw us out from ISKCON. They'll ban us to speak. I don't imitate Prabhupada. We are not imitating Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, just repeat what is in, we speak philosophy. Okay? I'm not saying now do some scandals publicly or something. But I'm saying that look at the Prabhupada, what he teach, what the Acharya say, what Vaishnava must teach. He cannot compromise that God is a person, God is a form, God is spiritual quality. He's not going to compromise. And he is not expecting us to compromise. In preacher must be intelligent. Preach in such a way not to fry people, purify people, to encourage them. But you have to spell it out that God is a person, he is a form. Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, Sachitanda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sara Karana Karana. Okay, we have time over for today. And as you know, we are on the word Krishna, Ishvara, Parama, Krishna. We didn't discuss Ishvara or Parama yet. We're just, it'll take a little time. So, there is a suggestion by devotees, since there are many shlokas in Brahma-saṁhitā, and the speaker is a really driving ambassador. He is very slowly going through the text. So we suggest that if you are people of Sunday evening also, every Saturday and Sunday, so we can a little bit cover a little more of the subject. So if that is okay for all of you, please attend tomorrow evening also. We'll continue. And those who are having difficulties with those timings, they can see it on the YouTube later on, cover up, something like that. So I'll stop here for today. Do you have any questions? Hare Krishna. Is there any question somewhere? Okay, here's the question. Krishna is supreme God. Why his name It's not given directly in Vedas, and it is mentioned indirectly as Vasudeva Mukunda. Can you please give explanation? Okay, so you can see today we were quoting, not we, Srila Jiva Goswami quoted from Samaveda that Krishna, Devakinandana. So Krishna's name is mentioned in Vedas. Krishna's name is mentioned in all four Vedas. Who say Krishna's name is not mentioned in the Vedas? And when you say Mukunda and Vasudeva, to whom else prefer that to Krishna? There's no contradiction. Who is Vasudeva? Son of Vasudeva. Who is Mukunda? One who is giver of liberation. Krishna, Mukunda. So many times Krishna is addressed as Mukunda. So where is the contradiction? Where is the contradiction? So I don't know where you get this idea that Krishna's name is not mentioned in Vedas. This is a big misunderstanding. Okay. Do we have any other question? Okay. So here the question is, Krishna says in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that those who fully worship the unmanifest, that which lies beyond the perception of senses, all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of absolute truth, by controlling various senses and being equally responsive to everyone, such persons engaged in welfare of all at last achieve me. Question. Krishna mentions that the person is also achieve him at last. So why do we condemn the impersonal being atheists or offenders to the Lord? Do they achieve Krishna Loka or do they enter the darkness conformed by the verse? Because Ishopanishad says those who are engaged in worship of demigods enter darkness, region, ignorance, and still more so do the impersonal absolute. Okay, here this question is in Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna asked Krishna. Okay, Arjuna asked Krishna that who is better, those who worship you personally, devotees, or impersonals who worship you impersonally. So Krishna says this, Klesho dikatarastesham avyakta chetasam avyakta hidati dukkham deha avapyate. That Krishna says that worshipping impersonal aspect of me is difficult because it's for embodied soul. It's very difficult to focus mind on something impersonal, something without name, without form, qualities, without pastimes. It's difficult. It's a very, very dry jnana, worship impersonal Lord. Now Krishna says that ultimately even they will achieve me. What does it mean? It means that people who worship Lord impersonally, if they are impersonalists and not offenders, they will ultimately understand that God is Supreme Person. They will meet devotees, they will become devotees and they will come to me. That's what it means. Otherwise, they'll merge into Brahma Jyoti, effulgent rays of Krishna's body. They're not going to achieve Krishna Loka unless they become devotees. Nobody can go home back to Godhead without becoming devotees. So example of impersonalists, Brahmavadis, who are not offenders. For example, Shukadeva Goswami and four Kumaras. Four Kumaras, they went to Vaikuntha. They were impersonalists. They were self-realized soul. They were transcendentalists. They said, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. They were not into material sense gratification. They were not into, they were not offending the Lord's form. They were speaking, they were attracted to impersonal aspect of the Lord, all pervading Brahma Jyoti. Now, they went to Vaikuntha. They knew that God has also form, but they were not devotees. Once the Lord came out of Vaikuntha, Madhva is very clear with that quoting that they never went there in Sassonist. Lord came out through the door. So Lord showed himself out of his causeless mercy, and by seeing his lotus feet and by smelling the tulasi from the offer to the lotus feet of the Lord, by seeing his beautiful transcendental form, they became devotees. So this is what that ultimately they will come to be impersonalists. But there is another group of impersonalists called Mayavadis. Mayavada means the philosophy of Maya, which says that Brahma-saṁhitā jagat mithya, that Brahman, okay, Mayavad philosophy says like this: Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's are all creation of Maya. Because ultimately Brahman has no form, nirguna, uh, arupa, no name, no qualities, nirvishesh, no attributes, no activities, no leelas, no pastimes. They say these are all Krishna's activities. This is creation of Sattva Guna. This is all Maya. This is called, and they deride the Lord. They criticize the Lord. They offend the Lord. Actually, there is no form. Actually, why you worship deity? Why you go to temple? God is not in there. God is everywhere. God is all pervading. If God is all pervading, why he is not in the deity? What is your philosophy? They deride the personality. They offend Krishna, but interpreting that Krishna is black. Krishna, that I told you, Krishna is black. Black means nothing. Nothing is something. Something is everything. Confusing people. Krishna is son of Devaki. This is Krishna. So those who are offending Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes, these are people who go to darkest region of hell described by the Ishopanishad. So I hope this little bit clarifies the matter. Thus Krishna will feel happy if one addresses him as Black Krishna. I heard Krishna will feel very happy in addressing connection with devotees like Yashoda Nandan, Devaki Nandan, etc. Of course, Krishna has dark complexion, then Shyam, Shyamasundar, Krishna, blackish. So if you call him blackish, what is your attitude? Of course, Krishna is more pleased if you call him by names related to Yashoda Nandan, Devaki Nandan, Yadava, relation to his devotee, Partha Sarathi. Krishna likes to be called by names in relation to his devotees because he relishes the loving exchanges with his devotees. That gives him so much pleasure. But Krishna is his principal name. All devotees call him by name Krishna. There's nothing wrong calling him Krishna. The problem is that they don't understand what means Krishna. The Mayavadis, they twist the meaning of the name. Krishna means black. That doesn't explain anything. This statement does not explain anything. Simply you are avoiding all other discussion. The Krishna means one who controls everyone, one who nourishes everyone, one who gives pleasure to all living entity, one who is a personification of spiritual existence. Nothing you explain by telling Krishna means black. Nothing is explained. Only your future is black. That's all what is described. Meaningless. It's just confusing people, blubbering something. So I don't know if I understood your question, but definitely you're right. Krishna loves when he's called by name relating to his devotees, more than anything. How to preach to demigod worshippers that Krishna is God. How to preach to demigod worshippers that Krishna is God. So you see how to preach. You have to quote Shastras. You ask demigod, what do you know about Shiva? How do you know about Durga? Where do you learn about Ganapati? From the Vedas. When you accept what the Veda says, Gita is Gita Upanishad, essence of all Vedas, accepted by all acharyas. So Gita does not recommend demigod worship. So it's not that we are Hare Krishna, so we are pushing Krishna is God. So we are on canvassing. Krishna is God. We are Hare Krishna, so we push Krishna is God. And you are Shaiva, so we push Shaiva is God. No. We are Hare Krishna because Krishna is God. No? Because Shastra says so. So you have to preach from Shastra. You have to preach from Bhagavad Gita. I say, you don't believe me, but look what Gita says. Mataf parataram nanyat kinchita asti dhananjaya. There's no truth superior to me. No? Yanti deva vrata devan pitri yantri pitri vrataha bhuta yanti bhuteja yanti madhya chinopima. So the worship is there of demigods, but it's not the same as worship of Krishna. It brings you material benefit. Antavatu palam tesham tadbhavati alpamedasam. Devan devo yajayanti mad bhakta yanti mamapi. Gita says it's not same. If you come to Krishna, mamupetya to kontrya puna janma naviyate. No more than that. If you worship demigods, Abrahma bhuvanaloka punaravartino jana. You achieve repeated birth and death. There's a difference. Shastra says. Same Shastra who say worship Ganapati for material benefit, worship Shiva for material benefit, worship Durga for material benefit. But you want to stop repeated birth and death. Mukunda, worship Krishna. Krishna means one who stops repeated birth and death. This is the word explanation of the very name of Krishna, meaning like that. Okay, we have some more questions. Like we can hear the description of Vaikuntha Vasi. So similarly to the Vaikuntha Vasi? No, about the material. What is it? Can you, what does it mean?
We are hearing about the description of material world. So can the people staying in Vaikuntha also know about the material world?
Oh my goodness. The question is that we are hearing the description of Vaikuntha and residents of Vaikuntha. So do they hear the description of us in material? Yeah, we are so glorious, they know about us. We are worthy discussion in Vaikuntha. Yeah, they know. There are some foolish souls who forgot God and they are out of compassion coming down and preaching to us, Yes, shall I have next question? How can chanting on name of Krishna once be equal to chanting Sri Vishnu Sahasranama, 1,000 names of Vishnu, thrice if Sri Vishnu Sahasranama comprises name Krishna? So, what is the contradiction? Okay, can you find some reasonable questions? Okay, so what's the point? Shastra says, we were reading, Sahasranamna Punyanam Triravritatu Yatphalam Ekavritatu Krishnasya Namaikam. So Shastra says that one is like you chanted 1,000 names of Vishnu. So even Krishna's name is in Vishnu Sahasranam. So now what is the question? Mathematics, Prabhu. Mathematics. No? But that's your foolish mundane logic that you're trying to put everything, your small matchbox of your tiny material brain, Because if Krishna name is there, it's already 1,000 times. So 1,000 times plus another 1,000, 1,000 minus 1 is 999. So 1,199 compared to 1,000. Hey man, relax. Chant Krishna's name. It's fine, just relax. Ooh. Hare Krishna. I never expected a question like that. Don't get offended. Chant Krishna's name, be happy, it's okay. Some people are envious of Krishna or they don't like Krishna because they think that Krishna is a reason for war between family members. I heard this before, that people don't like to keep photo of Partha Sarathi Krishna on battlefield of Kurukshetra in their house, or even Krishna with the flute, they say, blow away your wealth. Some nonsense people speak like this. Okay, so look, Krishna is, what is it? He became reason for war between family members. Okay, so war between family members. Krishna is reason for war. Is not Krishna reason for war? First of all, if you see even materially, Duryodhana is reason for the war, and Dhritarashtra, who was attached to his children. Kaura was the reason for the war. All Mahabharata says this, And Krishna is one who was peace. He came between to negotiate for peace. They did not want the peace. So war was there. Not Krishna's choice. He did his best, they didn't want. Materially look. Second thing is that Krishna came to Kurukshetra to glorify his devotees, to engage in the loving exchanges with his devotees. And whoever died in Kurukshetra went home back to Godhead. Whoever leaves body in the presence of Krishna, he who was there present, his original Swayam Rupa form, personality of Godhead, in front of God who lives the body in his presence, he never takes birth in material world. We all belong to Krishna's family. We belong to Krishna. We belong to Vaikuntha. And Krishna came and took all bunch of souls back home back to Godhead. What's wrong with that? We belong to Krishna's family. All these material families are so the temporary, and they are bewilderment of soul, thinking, aham mameti, that I belong to this family, I belong to this country, I belong to this caste, I belong to this color, this is my wife, this is my house, this is my which is binding us, you know. So why people are not understanding this? Because they don't hear from Shastras, they don't hear from sadhus, they don't hear from devotees. They hear all this Mayavadi's interpretation. Krishna is this problem, that problem, but they don't understand. Therefore, Mahajana Yena Gata Sapanta. We should hear from Mahajanas, we should hear from devotees, we should hear from sadhus. Who is Krishna? How to understand Krishna? Only through Guru, Vaishnava, through the sadhu who has dedicated his life in the service of Krishna. And this is proved. Therefore, don't hear from others. Don't read bogus magazine. Don't read unauthorized books. You just get confused. And by hearing from Srila Prabhupada and his sincere followers, you can get so much knowledge. You get clear understanding who is Krishna. So I think some more questions, are there? Okay, so okay, I think no more questions. Do you have here also no questions? Yes, one question.
Just keep trying.
Absolute truth. Sometimes Prabhupada calls Krishna the absolute truth, supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. Absolute truth. Absolute means something complete. The truth means, you see, English word. Now, we are translating from Sanskrit to English, then from English to Sanskrit. But Sat. Sat Chit Anand. No? So, absolute truth means Krishna is absolute truth. Whatever exists comes from Krishna. So what do we have? We have Krishna, personality, Krishna's form, Krishna, person, the God. We have his spiritual expansion, spiritual world. We have avatars, spiritual forms, spiritual potency. We have jivas, Krishna, spiritual potency, jivas, tatastha Shakti, and material potency. Material energy, marginal energy, and spiritual energy, and Krishna. These four comprises everything. All three come from Krishna. So Krishna and spiritual, marginal, material energy forms absolute truth. Whatever you can think of, conceive of, see, describe, imagine, comes in one of these four categories. Either it's Krishna, or his spiritual energy, or his jiva, or his energy. Nothing else exists out of it. So this is called absolute truth. And because Krishna is source of all, he is the absolute truth. So there's no problem speaking about Krishna, that call him his absolute truth, Param Brahman. Make sense? Okay, cool. So we will continue tomorrow. Now we will have this program every Saturday and Sunday because subject is very big and we want to engage more in hearing about Krishna. Thank you very much for all of you, wherever you are online, and all the devotees who will kindly here to discuss this Sri Brahma-saṁhitā. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Brahma-saṁhitā ki jai, Lord Premananda.
ఎక్కులేవు